Gentlemen, what is good? It is Monday night, and you know what that means. Another episode of the Black Baseball Mixtape Live. I am your boy Cheats, and I am really excited about today's episode, or tonight's episode, if you will, because not only do we have the entire crew here ready to get into it, ready to really mix it up, we have a very special guest who we will introduce very shortly. Before we do, this episode's got it all. We're going to be previewing the 2026 season. We're going to visit with our special guest. Flobo, should I just say who it is now so people
Say
know?
it.
We got our guy Jake, man, Baseball Barbacast, Yahoo Sports. I mean, if you're really old school, like Flobo is, what was it?
Yeah.
It was like the Cespedes.
Yeah, family barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Jake Mintz is on the show. We're very excited about it. And one of all, like a pioneer in many ways. Like basically the I don't know what to say, like the Sam Jethro. He's not Jackie. He may not be Larry at this point,
Okay.
but he's early on. Hank Thompson, the Hank Thompson of integration on the Black Baseball Mixtape.
Interesting comparisons, yeah.
I absolutely love it. So Jake's on the program. We're really excited about it. Before we go too far, we want to make sure that we thank our sponsors, our partners, the Players Alliance, doing really huge things. It's a really important time for the Players Alliance as they continue to serve underserved communities, raise the accessibility for the game for minorities. They continue to do really great things, and I'm excited about our partnership with the Players Alliance, so make sure you check them out. Shout out to our guys, Numbers Game. It is that. There he is. Flobo's got it ready. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Baseball is funner scoring a baseball game, no matter how you look at it. Make sure you score it with a Numbers Game scorecard. You can get the Black Baseball Mixtape scorecard right there exclusively on their page. So make sure you check them out. And our last but not least, our good friends over at Minority Prospects. It has been a busy weekend for the guys over at Minority Prospects and the ladies because college baseball and college softball is fully underway. And we have got some huge, I'm talking about huge scores. I think April posted that Oklahoma score that was absolutely unreal. UVA put up 31 over the weekend against Wagner. Tice Armstrong from Baylor hit 3 Grand Slam home runs. I think Oklahoma in that game, they hit 2 Grand Slam home runs. It's been unreal. You can track the absolute best minority players on Minority Prospects, both baseball and softball, in the college ranks, in the high school ranks, and beyond. So make sure you check them out as well.
And also make sure you join us this college season. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Always, it is. I had to look. I had to caveat this with the video that I did earlier about college baseball over the weekend, which was we are not doing college baseball finish your breakfast. Don't get excited. That is just too much work. I cannot do it. But every once in a while, we will chime in.
I will be doing weekly updates, so y'all make sure y'all check out 10th Inning Talk and me for that.
There's got to be a way where we can figure out, like maybe on a Monday, we do like a weekend recap of kind of the bigger games. But you know that meme of the guy that's like, we don't have the capacity. That was me when we were looking at college baseball over the weekend. It is a lot. It is a lot. Flobo boys, how we feeling, my guy?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I mean, you said we got Jake Mintz coming up soon. I remember back in the Sirius XM days, he had this one promo. We had to talk like he was like buckwheat. I want to talk about that. He was like, Uba Wubba Wubba, check out the Baseball Barbacast. That was in my head for years. But besides that, though, yo, in the booth is going well. Just hanging out with the crew will love it. Every Monday is always a good times, man. I'm hyped for the season.
Hyped for the season as well. All about April 10th Inning Talk. How we feeling?
I am feeling great. I'm excited about tonight's episode. And again, make sure you are locked in with me for both college baseball and softball. Y'all, it's just 2 weeks. We're only 2 weeks in for college softball, and the number one position has changed. And the number one team in the country, UCLA, also lost this weekend. So just a lot going on. Make sure you're locked in.
I know UCLA men's lost, so they're 2-1.
Yes.
You're saying the number one softball team in the country changed, right?
Yes, it is now Tennessee. Tennessee was the only team at the Clearwater Invitational to leave undefeated. So number one, Texas Tech is no more.
There you go. Malik, how we feeling over there at Buttermain Baseball? We got something coming up real soon.
Oh yeah, we got something cooking up. It's been a minute, but we're gonna be dropping our top 10-ish shortstops going into 2026. We've been trying to put some more articles out on our Substack with Black Baseball Mixtape. Really excited about this list, and there's a little bit of a thought exercise on it. I'm gonna let y'all read that in the article once it drops.
Look, I know what it is. I think it's fantastic. It's a great, great concept, especially for us here in the South. So I really, really enjoy it. So,
Let's go.
ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, I'm really excited, man, because there's tons of baseball podcasts you can listen to. I appreciate everyone that listens to the Black Baseball Mixtape and supports that. I'll tell you, every week I'm locked into Baseball Barbercast and the wonderful guys, Jake and Jordan. They are fantastic. I got a chance to meet them, I want to say a couple years back at an All-Star game, and just was locked in ever since. So we've been trying to get Jake on the show, and it is a true honor as we bring in our guy, Jake Mintz. Jake, welcome.
Thank
To
you.
the mix.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you.
excited to have you, my
Yes,
boy.
sir.
Wow, Sam Jethro, such praise.
I was just like, what?
He had a good career. He had a good career, man. 15 wins. He's a big leaguer. Like I'm not mad. That's fine with me.
Man, well, look, we're honored to have you on. We know this time is extremely busy. I got a chance to see you. I think we were both on this last week, like midweek GM managerial calls. Yeah, getting some questions in, trying to figure out what these teams are going to shape up and look like. So let me ask the standard question, as we always kind of lead into this thing. We're coming off back-to-back Dodgers World Series. What is there? What are you looking forward to at this time of year? As someone that's followed this closely, what are you looking forward to, and what are you tracking?
Well, so there's two different things. One is like I am cold right now because I am not at spring training and I head down in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. So for me, like my whole life is just getting to spring training, because so much of what I do, right, is talking to people and being at games and, you know, pregame and batting practice is just being there and getting information and understanding what's going on in the sport, right? And it's very difficult to do that from my desk chair, you know, on our street in Washington, D.C. on February 16th. Please don't come to my house. So like, that's the first thing. The second thing is for this specific season,
yep,
it's ABS. It's robo, like it's having a challenge system for balls and strikes. I think we've kind of underplayed how drastically that's going to impact the way that we consume the sport, right? Mm-hmm. Because again, it's not full robo umps. It's not, you know, the evil box from iRobot just deciding what's a ball and what's a strike. Like the ump is calling the game, and then the players can tap their helmet and challenge. They've had this in the minors for a number of years. They had it at the All-Star game last year. They had it in some spring training games, but it's going to be every game, and some wonky stuff is going to happen, and it's going to really alter the way some guys pitch. It's going to alter for sure the way that we watch the sport.
So that's a good question, and let's start with that, because I grew up watching tennis. I feel like, you'd correct me if you think I've got this wrong. It feels to me like a line challenge. Like we're used to watching the U.S. Open and seeing a player think a call is out or a call is in, and then everybody claps, and you see the graphic, and it's like it's in. Now that could sway a big point in a tennis match, but at the same time, I feel like we've just gotten accustomed to used to it, and we've seen some of these calls, especially last year when I started looking at just about games every night. I saw some calls last year that I was like, it is not the hitter's fault that they're getting tossed out of the game this way.
Look, dude, umpires have never been this good. Like they're getting better. And a lot of the reason that they've gotten better is because of the technology that they have access to, right? So like 10 years ago, we didn't know what was a ball and what was a strike after the game, sure, right? And so like you couldn't evaluate the umpires. You couldn't keep them, hold them to account. Now, after every game, you can show the umpire like, hey, here's where you missed. This is where you messed up. So like there are certain situations, right, where umpires, the zone has gotten a lot taller as we've evaluated them. They're giving the high and the low strike more. Sure. There is a lot less BS where it's like 0-2 count on the edge, we're going to call that a ball because it's an 0-2 count, or 3-0 count, right? We're going to give you an automatic strike. That doesn't happen as much anymore. And so I do think what we're about to see is how good these umps are. And what I'm most excited about is I don't have to listen to people complain about umps anymore, because my general take about umpiring and why I'm generally ambivalent about the whole thing is that, like, the arc of baseball history, it's even in the end. Like, no team or person or player or fan base is getting screwed more than another over the course of this sport, right? And so, yes, it can impact various outcomes of certain games, but like over the long run, I want to watch the players play. I don't want to waste any time on like my show whining about what like freaking Dan Iasonia thought about a 1-2 curveball.
It's still going to happen. You know that, right?
Sure,
you know it's
sure,
still
sure,
going to
sure,
happen. We're still trying to figure out what a catch is in the NFL because of this. Like, it's still going to happen.
But like, dude, what I'm so interested in is like, are we going to see fewer ejections? Like, are managers going to not come out as often because, like, oh, you think you're wrong? Like, if the ump's like, hey, oh, you thought I was wrong? Tap your head. Like, do something about it, right? Don't yell at me.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know if we're going to see more. I just still feel like the chaos is going to be the chaos. I think they're going to, some of the bigger things they're going to correct because they'll be able to challenge like some really egregious, like, you know, I think, and like you mentioned this may have been kind of weaning its way out of the game the last couple of years anyway. But like, there's players that have personal grudges. Like there's certain players and certain umpires that don't like each other. So you may get that call. Like if you're Jazz, you might get a Jazz Chisholm call that was clearly.
But dude, that's the thing. Now what's great is Jazz is just gonna tap the helmet.
So
right?
yeah, so that's here's the last question I have on this, and some of the crew might have some, but that's the big question. Who do you think it benefits more? Do you think it benefits the pitchers or the hitters?
Probably, I think it's going to benefit the hitters more. Because pitchers aren't going to get the edge, I think, in the way that they are used to sometimes. What's most interesting is like some pitchers are just not going to challenge. Chris Sale was talking about this the other day.
Earlier this week.
Like, I'm not an umpire.
I don't call the game.
Yeah. And I think that's smart because if you're a pitcher, I mean, think about how pitchers finish. Not everyone finishes like Greg Maddux or Marcus Stroman when they're like down and ready in a fielding position, ready to take in a ground ball, right? Like a lot of dudes now, like their heads are just, you're not even looking at the strike zone. So like, how are you going to challenge something you're not looking at, right? The catcher is going to be the best at this, right? Because they're seeing it from the umpire's perspective.
Sure.
And then I think, so like on a raw level, it'll go catcher, hitter, pitcher. But I think the hitters will like win out in the end. But it's going to be so interesting. I'm fascinated by it.
It'll be fun to watch because for every Chris Sale, there's going to be like a Max Scherzer that's challenging pitches in an All-Star game. So
whichever pitcher, dude, there's going to be one moment in the first week where some overconfident hitter or pitcher is going to try and challenge something that is not even remote, like remote.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like,
and it's going to go viral. It's 100% going to happen. Who that's going to be is very, very interesting. Like who whines, like who are the biggest whiners?
That's the question. Who's the biggest maniac on the mound? Like who's the person that thinks that?
Chris Bassett.
Chris Bassett. Yeah, but like Chris Bassett's a really good answer. Scherzer's not going to do it because he hates the system itself, right? Like he's like, I'm not participating in this system. I don't, like, he's like, this is not for me.
Right. This is just not my thing.
Like it's going to be someone who thinks they're smarter than the system, right?
Oh,
I can't wait.
Good question. Flobo, you always love rule changes. This is your thing. Do you have a question?
Do you like it?
ABS?
Do you like? Flo? Are you happy with this? With the ABS?
Yes, I am. I'm not sure about the fallout story of now the strike zone may not be shown on feeds to like help. I guess edges the thing that we're gonna have it or not. But the idea of an ABA system is pretty cool, especially now with everyone betting. You can't have a human being be the be all end all. You need some kind of AI or computer to be like, okay, this verifies. But the question I have is like, I guess as that gets tweaked over time is about how many you get, right? I think that's something that's still kind of fluid. Maybe not so much next season, but later on, playoffs, do you get a certain amount per challenge, that sort of thing? I'm not sure about. But the question I have for you is this. If we do something along those lines, if we have that challenge, is it going to be like what it was last season, where as long as you touch somewhere near the line it counts? Or do you think that it has to be like full on? Okay.
There's got to be some. I mean, you have this in every sport, right? What is it in soccer? The hole of the ball has to cross the hole of the line.
Sure. For all
right.
Times, yeah.
Like there's a lot. Like that's what the line's for. Now it looks stupid when it just kind of pips it on the end.
Absolutely.
And it feels a little cheap. But like, what's the alternative, right? There has to be some sort of barrier somewhere. Another thing that you kind of mentioned is like certain teams. If you I think it's what you get 2 of them, 3 of them. I should know that.
I think it's 2.
If you get them right, you keep getting more. But there's going to be a situation where a team's out of challenges and they get screwed in the 8th inning of the game, and they'll be mad that they didn't have one remaining. And then there are going to be some situations where I think certain teams are going to say, we're saving the challenges for these certain hitters. Because if you're the Mets, think about it from the Mets perspective.
I do.
I want Juan Soto to get every challenge. Because he knows the strike zone better than the other 8 dudes combined. And so, like, if I'm like, you need to be sure challenging a pitch, because Soto is probably going to be right if he goes and challenges it, right? And so you need to save those for your big boppers.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, look, of the rule changes, I think the way they kind of eased into this one in many ways, like I watch a lot of minor league baseball games.
Soft launch. This is a soft launch.
Yeah. I feel like it's just going to be, everybody knew it was coming. I don't feel like this is, to me, going to be as dramatic as like the pitch count and the throw over rule and the things that they've done kind of previously to make the game go faster. This doesn't necessarily make the game go faster. I think it's kind of more along the lines of trying to keep the integrity of the game close to being right. So I'll be interested.
Dude, your comp with tennis is spot on. Like, you probably watch a little more tennis than I do, but
I watch a lot of tennis.
Do you feel as if the advent of the line challenges have like it made your watching experience better or worse?
No, it's better in tennis. It's worse in basketball. Basketball is the one that when they challenge the plays in basketball, 1, you never know what play can be challenged. And then 2, it takes forever. Like the basketball challenge, if you watch an NBA playoff game and you're watching them challenge a basketball, call, whether it's a block charge or something like that, that's the worst because it takes a long time. It gives people, now and again, what they do is they challenge to get like extra timeouts and stuff like that. But I feel like in tennis, it's better. Basketball, it's worse.
Well, because it's cut and dry. And that's why baseball is kind of closer to tennis, right? Because like either the ball touches this line or it doesn't touch the line, right? It's either in or it's out. We don't need to zoom in on Tyrese Halliburton's, pinky nail for 10 minutes to decide who gets the ball, right? This is going to be faster than that. And that is something that I appreciate about the way the league has done this.
Yeah.
They understand that the priority is entertainment over like truth, right? And so they needed to make sure, and they have, that this is going to flow smoothly and quickly before they put it in, which is not what happened with challenges back in the day in like 2015, 2016, right? Like those were taking forever. But the tech's better now, though.
Here's one thing, and I just thought about this while you were mentioning it, because you mentioned like a Greg Maddux type person. Do you think some of those guys, not the hard throwers, but the precision pitchers like a Maddux, their careers would be dramatically different if they had ABS?
Yeah, Greg Maddux on ABS would be working at, Sunoco.
That is a very East Coast cut right there, Sunoco.
There's a Sunoco down the block. I just walked, but yeah, like Greg Maddux without the 4 inches off the plate on either side is just a different story, right?
A different story.
Now that's a whole other thing, right? Is like, how does this change the way people pitch? I don't know. I'm not that smart to think about it. Like, I like to have some sort of, diversity in terms of the way that guys are pitching. Like, I don't want everyone to throw 98 miles an hour with its slider. I like the idea that we have, Marcus Stroman's in there throwing 91 mile an hour sinkers, and we have, Kyle Hendricks trying to survive at 88, and we have, funky dudes throwing 90. Like, I don't want everyone to look like Zach Wheeler throwing 97 miles an hour by you every single time, right? April, sorry, you were going to ask something. I wanted to know what you were about to say.
Oh, I was going to say, in regards to tennis, I also think that it helps the players have a keener eye, and for them to really evaluate exactly when to use their challenges. So for baseball, that's going to be something that's going to be key. I'm a huge tennis fan. But seeing the players, like I can even think of when Nadal was playing, he was very calculated in when he used his challenges. And that's the same thing for a lot of people who are on tour now, because they realize, if I miss that moment, that means that I'm missing a point that could possibly change the entire match.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, I'm excited to see how this works. I don't think I'll be interested to see if it indeed changes the way pitchers approach the game in a way. I know the hitters always think that they have a really, really good eye. We'll see. One of the things that I've always run into, especially over the last couple of years, when you're talking to especially either hitting coaches or kind of older legends that are kind of mentoring younger players, they're like, pitchers don't really, they marvel at the lack of pitchers going inside. And they were like, if some of the pitchers that have really dominant stuff that don't necessarily turn out to be dominant, they were like, if you look at their pitches that they throw, they cannot control the inner half of the plate. Once they've got, because they, like you mentioned, all those guys, a lot of them have 97, 98, 99 with like, a nasty slider or changeup or something. But it's like controlling the inner half of the play. I'll never forget, both Eric Davis and Gary Sheffield were like talking about young pitchers and the stuff they have. And they're like, their stuff is incredible, but if they can't throw in the inner half of the plate, these guys are just, they're hunting. Because
if you're a hitter, right? If you're a hitter and you know that the guy pitching is not going to control the inner half, he's not going to challenge you in, you need to take a half step closer to the dish. And then you just made the pitch on the outer half down the middle for you. Right? Like when I was coaching Little League in New York, I would have all my kids kind of closer to the plate, because no 10-year-olds spotting up fastballs on the inside black. Like, it's just not happening, right? So like, give yourself more leeway and go get that pitch. Now, an interesting thing is, like, there are a ton of hitters in the league now that, like, I feel like the best players in a way, they're either these like giants like Aaron Judge, or they're these shorter than you expect Jose Ramirez types, like Jose Altuve, where you can't get in on that guy, right? Like, there was this whole thing a couple of years ago where I think Cleveland just started signing all these Latin American dudes with really short arms, because the thought was, if the game is high heat inside top of the zone, the shorter your arms are, the easier it is going to be for you to get to that pitch.
Quicker hands,
right? Not just quicker hands, but shorter path. Okay. Right? Like the path from where your hands start to where the ball is up in the zone, the shorter your arms are. Like the guys to think about when you think is like Alex Bregman is the best at this, right? Like, he's so tight. His hands are so tight to his body, and he gets to that pitch. It's just a very simple, quick move. And so I am curious how, like, does ABS make it more likely or less likely that guys try to work inside, and how does that change the types of hitters, right? This is meta game that goes on between the hitters and the pitchers that is just so interesting. But yeah, ABS is certainly going to change the way we watch the sport, right? That I'm confident about. I don't know how it's going to change the way that they play the sport, and I think we need to we have all this minor league data, which is cool and helpful to a point, but like, it's a different game. Like, these dudes are they're just different animals, right? Like, think about it. I know I'm going long. I'll think about it in a second. Think about it like this. It's so much easier if you're a hitter or even a catcher, to challenge minor league pitching, because it's slower and worse. The harder a pitch is to hit, the harder it is to challenge, because it's harder to track. It's harder to see. You don't know where it's going, right? And so I would expect that, hitters are maybe going to be a little worse at this than we've seen. Like challenging Joe Schmo throwing 91 at a Flying Squirrels game, with all due respect, Cheats.
No, you're going to be with me. We love this.
Right?
We love these Flying Squirrels.
Versus, Jacob deGrom hitting 99 on the edge. Like, it's a different hemisphere that we're talking about here.
I can't wait. Oh, go ahead, Ed.
I want to ask too, when I interviewed Miss Natola Hawthorne, she talked about from the umpire's perspective how when you were mentioning the different ratios of how people swing the bat, but for the batter, they have to change the strike zone according to the height of the player. So even that is something to keep in mind with the whole ABS system, because the umpires are basing the strike zone based on the height of the player. Meanwhile, what is this going to look like, especially with us no longer having access to the framing?
So are we getting the box? I think we're getting the box.
Okay.
The box is not dead. We're not getting like the dot on the box.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's the change. Which again,
well, also
fine.
It might also be depending on where you're watching the game, because that was my rant of last week. I'm like, even how are we gonna find all of these games? Where are they gonna be watched?
Yeah.
How is is it Yahoo? Is it Amazon Prime? Is it MLBTV.com?
Like Apple.
I am technologically savvy. I know, I was texting my friends the other day about do I get, ESPN Unlimited with Xfinity? Do I get all of these things? It's insane.
You guys know when you're doing your taxes or going through your healthcare,
totally,
and you have this thought and you're like, this is hard for me. What do stupid people do? How do stupid people do this? I would like to think I'm of a average to above average intelligence.
Sure.
And in this country, I would like to think that maybe that is not the case. And if that is not the case, then my bad. But I always say, how do stupid people figure this out? I'm struggling with my deductible or whatever the hell. And that's how I feel about trying to watch baseball.
Right.
If I'm struggling with this and this is my life, this is all I do.
What are people supposed to do?
What is
NBC Peacock, Amazon
Jimmy's
Friday night,
grandpa is fucked. He's got no chance to find the game.
No.
Right? And so it is fascinating. I just have an MLB TV account, and I think that will handle most of it.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm so ESPN, fascinated.
Yeah. Unlimited upcharge that you have to pay. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe. I don't watch. So I would be curious. I don't watch a lot of hoops. How has NBC and Peacock done this year now that they have the NBA? Because before this year, they had the Premier League and one football game a week, right? And so it was hard to kind of evaluate. It's a different thing. Yeah. Whereas, they're going to have a primetime baseball game every week, every Sunday night. So I'm fascinated to see how that broadcast is going to go and what that's going to look like.
Oh, well, look, I'll tell you, if it's anything between, I believe it's Amazon Prime and NBC, production-wise and commentator-wise, fantastic. They've done all of them have done really good, and I think they'll do a great job with baseball. I really do. I think that what baseball continues to need is folks that are willing to believe in the product and production of the product like it's a top tier national event, and not be treated like it's a lower tier. It's a very fascinating thing. But I think if they put the right teams together and the right effort, and we spend a lot of time on this program talking about some of the ways that the game is being portrayed to, especially our audience. But who's doing a good job? Is the Fox panel of Big Papi and Jeter and A-Rod, is it as cringy to everybody else as it is to us?
Because dude, you're so right. You're so right about this, because it's we are too close to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I try and say to people is I'm not the audience for anybody. I'm watching anyway. They could film this thing with a freaking Motorola flip phone, and I would watch it because this is my life. And so it's like, for lack of a better term, does the normie care? Right? Is the average person caring about what the broadcast is and what it looks like? Right. And that I find hard for me to evaluate.
Yeah. And it's getting harder. It's getting harder.
That's like where you just have to ask a friend who knows less about the sport. Right?
Well, yeah.
Those people are so valuable when we do this. They're like it's the most underrated resource in the world. Is someone who doesn't know a lot about a topic.
It's getting harder because I think the way that we consume information in general, the way that we can, like, I was looking the other day, and it does give you nostalgic, right, about the days of old where it was like, oh, you put this article in like the 1976 Sports Illustrated,
wow,
and like the world reads it, right? So it's like we are so fragmented in a way that we consume not just like information, but like news, right? Like that it is really, really difficult, I think, for us to really put in perspective, especially as communities, how we kind of follow sports and follow information, and like the days of even like highlights on SportsCenter seem to feel like they're gone.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm curious, like as far as baseball broadcasts go.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they are accessible to young black folks or no? Like, do you feel like they, as currently constructed, are being done with that in mind at all?
No.
Or not?
No, I mean, it's not. I don't think the question would be accessibility, because I think it's like you're saying, it's hard for everyone. It's hard for people that like us that are looking at every game and finding every game. And April's trying to figure out where the Dodgers game is, and Malik's trying to figure out where the Astros game is. That part is hard. I don't think, though, baseball in general. And this is you opening a can of worms. That is No, I'm saying like
show me the worms.
No, where I feel like other sports, and you guys can weigh in on this as well. Well, but the problem with baseball and especially the black community for a long time in the major league public presentation sphere of it is that the entities drifted away from each other. And where I think the NFL and the NBA recognized that there was kind of economic value and going towards culture, whether they wanted to or not. David Stern was like, hey, look, we got to figure this dress code thing out with the Iversons of the world.
Let the guy wear the red shoe, right?
But meanwhile, this is happening in the NBA and NFL, and around this time as well, you just see baseball going in a different direction from black culture. It wasn't. So you hear folks that'll say like, "Oh, black culture ran away from baseball." It wasn't. That's not the case, and it wasn't the case that like baseball specifically ran away from black culture per se. What happened was these two things were moving in opposite directions,
right? And
the rubber band just continues to get. And by the time, and baseball realized this, they had a problem with this. But and then they do things, and they've continued to do things. And there's a lot of great people in MLB that we talk to quite a bit here on the Mixtape that have dedicated their lives to closing that gap. And they're smart people. They have great ideas. I think the challenge always is there's no real in 2026, and we talk about this a lot. There's no real economic incentive for these owners and these, there's just no
it doesn't exist.
If the black community, if you go to a game and they're making up less than 5% of the audience in the stands, I'm not talking about the players on the field.
Yeah,
there is very little incentive for owners to do things that encourage our community to go to the game. Now, our community,
I think it all starts with what's on the field. I think it's all about what's on it.
And so there are people that also think that way. And I do think the more people get to see themselves on the field, I think that is a strong incentive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I also that now as we have gone in this and we've kind of gone through this ad nauseum for years. I do think that it is a little bit of, I think that's just one part of it. And I think if we said, even if the Atlanta Braves tomorrow filled a team with 7 African Americans on it, Atlanta's a bad example because they have they do a lot of really good things for the African American community. But say the Colorado Rockies, if the Colorado Rockies,
Always a
shout out
problem.
Flubbo, if they had a team
probably
that had,
better.
no, but if they had a team with 7 African Americans on it, the notion that the casual fan, like you were saying earlier, the normie, would flock to that team because of the people on the field. I think it's a process, and I think that baseball is it's a fluid situation where you look up on a certain team on a certain day, especially like last year with the New York Yankees. They might have had the Houston Astros. We had the Astros lineup that had 4 African Americans or 5 African Americans on it. And then 2 weeks later, 2 of those guys are cut, right? So it's like it's one of those things where I think it's a process, but I also think it's a multi-layered.
I'm really meant, like, when I ask a question, more of like just hearing the voices, like on a broadcast, right? We're like, if you're just hearing how many head play-by-play guys are black? Like now that Dave's on radio,
Dave's on the Yankees,
right? Like, with all due respect to radio, I love consuming baseball on radio. That is not something people under the age of 30 are opting into,
right?
Okay? And so
Joe Morgan's still getting heat from ESPN baseball.
Dude.
No, you know what though? It's kind of funny though. I think if you looked on the crews, so if you look at the baseball analysts like crews, there's a good chance. I'm not saying I haven't done a study on this, but there's a good chance that the commentary teams are over indexed with African Americans. If they have 8 players, if they have 8 members of their crew, think about a dugout reporter, somebody doing an interview on the sideline.
Yeah,
there is a chance that one of them is probably an African American, right? Possible. Not all the way across the board, but it's interesting because I think the bigger question is, how do you get our community in baseball into a place where they're aligning, where it feels as if they're not doing things in spite of each other? Like, black people are showing up in spite of the number of players on the field. But they're doing things kind of rowing the boat together. And I do think that you were starting to see, I've been very impressed with the last couple of years since I've been watching closer, the efforts that the community's doing, whether it's the grassroots level, organizations like the Players Alliance are doing, things that MLB and MLB Develops is doing to get excitement around the game at an age where it's younger, because I think that is that critical age of when they move from the little field at 12 years old to the big field at 13 years old. And when they start playing high school, and if it's like a normal high school, not like a baseball crazy high school, that's where all of the kids aren't going to the baseball game. Your girlfriend's usually not going to the baseball game, so it's like getting.
I played in college. We had 20 people there,
right. So making those things more attractive, those steps, if you will, making those steps more attractive to our community, I think that helps. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to go too long on that part as well, but I do think there are things that are getting better, and I do think I think the challenge is when you have so few, you have no black owners, and you have so few top executives in the front offices as well, very few managers, right? Not even just the players on the field. We've got Will Venable, and is that it now? Dave, Dave, and Will Venable. It's just having the DNA. There's DNA of African American culture and community that runs through the NBA, runs through the NFL. And yes, there are more players on the field, but the idea is it used to run.
It's not ingrained. It's not ingrained in the way that it was in the 70s, and it was because it was. It is because it is. Right. It's not even a conversation. It's not even spoken. Right. So whereas now it's just And I do think you bring up a good point. I think the league has genuinely done a lot of good things. And I think a lot of that stuff, particularly when it comes to like RBI, works on a bit of a tape delay. Because if you put money in and you pump time and you pump effort in, you're not going to develop 10 all-stars overnight. Like that stuff takes years and years and years to do. And every year when I look at the first round and it's like, oh, this kid was MLB developed. Like that's good. Like that's a good thing.
Right? Yes. And there's some trial and error, right? So one of the biggest things that people, there's an interesting thing that's happening now, because again, if you asked us 20 years ago, and we're all around the same age, I think, but if you asked us about 20 years ago, it was a big effort into RBI. Kids just got to play the game. Young kids, get them in there and playing the game. What they found out was young kids stop playing the game when it gets to about 12, 13, 14, right? When it gets harder, when travel and all of that stuff comes into play.
That year, again, when I coached, it's the worst year.
Yeah. No, it's like middle school years.
Oh,
but get this.
I teach them.
Right.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Get this.
Just that the kids are in their most like volatile state.
Yeah.
Sure. But get this, the league.
Well, then you got to double the size of everything, and like no one can throw from catcher to second base, and it's
But hear me out. Hear me out. The league figured that out a couple years ago and said, oh, we got all of these kids playing, but they stopped playing. And what we're still not getting those kids to the major leagues, right? Or very few of them. So what they did was that's when you started to see MLB develops in some of these other teams put a lot of effort into the Hank Aaron Invitational, the Dream Series, all of those things that take the elite kids and try to make them more elite, like give them the tools that are really going to make them successful. And so what they've done is, I think we're in a place where you're starting to see them figure out, like, we need to do both. But we hadn't, like, we tried this way for a long time. We tried this way, that we neglected this way. And what we really need is almost a holistic approach to trying to make baseball accessible, get it in, low income areas, get it into urban areas. But like you're saying, the other thing about this is these national programs is very much like politics. National programs are only going to work if you have local guys on the ground really dedicated to cultivating that area.
It's the whole so like when I was coaching in Harlem for 6 years, right? I had a kid who went to the Hank Aaron Invitational, got his doors absolutely blown off by Cam Johnson, who's now at Oklahoma.
We just spoke about him, 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's on. Yeah, so this kid comes home. I'm not gonna. He's great. He's playing college somewhere now.
Amazing.
He comes home. He goes, Coach, there was this kid named Cam Johnson, and I didn't see the ball. He's like, I didn't see it. It was in the glove before my eyes were open, right? But yeah, like when I was, I was only up there for 6 years, but it's like keeping the quality coaches at the younger level is so hard. It's so hard.
And community matters, right? Like, so there's all of these wonderful things. But no, I want to ask. Look, I want to switch gears, guys. Sorry about this.
Yeah, go ahead. So,
got to switch gears.
Oh, this is good.
And I do want to shout out. Look, I want to switch gears, and I want to
talk about like Jeremy Pena. This is way more interesting.
And I want to shout out guys that on the ground that is making it happen and doing it, and that's one of our partners, Minority Prospects. So make sure you do shout out Minority Prospects. Check them out, both baseball and softball. It is fantastic. Shout out to the Players Alliance, who are also making it happen on the ground all season. There'll be a big presence in 2026, so make sure you check out the Players Alliance and our guys over at Numbers Game Scorecards. They are fantastic. I don't want to get into a long tangent because this is not the question.
I got to get my hands on one of those scorecards.
Do you score a game?
Big score. Oh, every game I'm at.
Oh yeah, we got
every
you.
game I'm
we
at.
got you.
Where are my scorecards?
Absolutely got you.
Score every game I'm at, dude.
Yeah, so
right here.
Look, we're not.
I know this is a different brand. But I got my book. I got my book right here.
We only recognize Numbers Game, but I'm joking. Hey, look, so we're not going to talk particularly about one player like you mentioned, but we are going to talk. I do want to ask you about kind of the haves and the have-nots in Major League Baseball, right?
Yeah.
We all know what's happening at the end of the season. We know what's approaching when it comes to labor and management and a tale as old as time. But how do you kind of measure this up when you look at the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees and the Phillies, and they're playing in the same league, so to speak, playing in the same leagues with, the Rockies or the Royals or someone that just doesn't have the economic
Sure.
advantage that the big spenders have. Like, do you think that it's gotten too out of hand between the haves and the have-nots?
So there's a couple different things here. First is that like economic inequality within sports is not a new phenomenon.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like the Yankees did this 20 years ago,
Yep.
right? And I was 7 to 10. Like I don't remember. I didn't freak out. I was sad because I was an Orioles fan, right? But like I don't remember. And like this is the case in like college sports now, right? Like there are teams that can afford dudes in the portal and teams that can't. And so I think like that is important to understand. And there will always be some level of financial stratification because of the way that America exists with big cities and small cities, right? The bigger cities are probably always going to have a little bit more money to spend. And that's just the fact. However, and I'm coming at this with like, a relatively pro-labor mindset is just like how I see the world and the game. I went to like a labor summer camp as a kid that my parents sent me to. That being said, the Dodgers have gone beyond the scale. Right?
Easy,
They have
April,
gone
easy.
No, and this is not to fault the fans, the organization, the players, whomever, like the owners even. It's not their fault. Like they are doing everything within the system that exists to win. If they weren't doing that, it would be stupid of them, and it would be like, why? Like I don't want that. Even if you're a Padres fan or a Giants fan, you want the Dodgers to try less? Like,
Exactly.
can you imagine if Andrew Friedman, the Dodgers president of baseball operations, said, we were going to sign Kyle Tucker, but we didn't want to make the Giants feel bad, so we decided not to.
Right.
No, like the Giants fans wouldn't want that either, right? And so it's like, let's get that clear. That being said, what they are and what they have become from a financial perspective, the current system was not built to handle it.
No.
That is a fact. Ohtani breaks the scale. He breaks the scale on the field, and he breaks the scale from a financial perspective for this team. He is a million things, right? He is he might be the most talented player we've ever seen, but he is a cash cow.
The rock star. He's absolutely he's the biggest star in baseball by far. He's a rock
biggest star, but he's not even just the biggest star, but
he's global.
He's global.
He's Michael Jackson.
And so think about this like from the Dodgers perspective. They're not signing Kyle Tucker for fun. They're doing it because it's a smart business decision. These are businessmen. These are ruthless businessmen, right? They are making money off the whole thing, as they should be. Capitalist America, whatever. But like the current system is not built to handle somebody like Ohtani enabling the Dodgers to operate in this fashion. Now, I don't think that they need to be like nerfed entirely, and you need to like. I don't think there should be a cap. But I do think that there needs to be some sort of mechanism instituted to handle what the Dodgers are doing. Now, it's tough, right? Because it's like I like what they are doing, and the way that they're operating within the system is a good thing. But I think we're kind of fooling ourselves if we ignore the reality that fans in smaller markets feel hopeless. They feel hopeless. And I don't necessarily know if we need to like, those are slightly different problems that might need slightly different solutions. But you know what's more important than what is real is how they feel, right? If a fan feels like their team doesn't have a chance, that's more important than if they really have a chance or not, right? Because it's all perception if you're a fan. It's all fandom. Fandom's irrational, right? It's how we feel. And so I do think that there is some sort of issue. Again, I'm not saying like cap it at 200 and make a floor at 120. Like, no, I don't even think there should really be a cap. But like, the Dodgers have broken the system. They've broken the scale, right?
And it's the one thing is you were just mentioning this about feelings, and I wonder, and I'll ask the group because look, I'm an Orioles and a Nats fan, and I go to a lot of Nats games. And I never felt, especially in the last couple of years, that the Nationals were going to be a competitive baseball team per se. However, I never felt broken enough that I stopped going. And I wonder.
But you're different. But
Right.
this is what I was saying before. You're not the audience. Like you're
But I
an
wonder
addict.
if that happened.
You're in. They could
Right.
roll out. They could roll
Sure.
out your family
Yeah.
members, and you
Sure.
would go to the baseball game, right? Like it's
That's kind
not
of funny, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
My grandma.
But fellas, I wonder,
in the
is
uniform.
there a part where it's like you feel hopeless enough in X location that you just stop going? And like again, I don't that's the one thing I don't know if baseball gets to, where it's like,
Yeah, have you seen Arizona's numbers? That team gave up. The whole town is like, forget it. That's the Dodgers are playing because they know they're
That's
NL
the
West.
thing. So, but it could that be enough? Is there enough Arizonas in baseball that would affect like the commissioner to be like, we got to do something?
I think they are. I think it's almost the opposite. Like the league is going to try and use that dynamic to argue for more spending limits. Like, do I really think that the commissioner of baseball is losing sleep at night because they're in the playoffs?
Right.
No,
No.
I don't. And this is what's ironic about the whole dynamic. You know what the league actually wants all the time is for these big market teams to be in the World Series so that everyone watches
all
and
the
they make
time.
more money.
Travel and spend money.
Yeah, so that's why this is so funny. Is like the best thing for the league is for the Dodgers to continue to do. Like they're making it's great, right? But
Ugh.
because they are this like example of this thing they can hold up and be like, see, there's a problem.
Mhm.
Right? We need to change this.
And you're a baseball fan at heart, like you, like again,
First.
we're all of
First.
us are. But
We all first.
So, but is it disturbing that it's like Yankees Dodgers World Series last year? You know the normal fan cannot. It's what is that, like $1,000 to get into the
Okay.
stadium?
Well, that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
That's like the cost of getting in is a different conversation. The cost of a World Series ticket in a lot of markets is
'Cause they're not
prohibitively
for,
expensive.
like
to
the
most
Super
people.
Bowl is not for normal people. The World Series is not for normal people, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that disturbing?
Supply and demand
Yeah.
now too. Getting into a whole nother conversation because the amount of people who want to go, the stadium can't handle
Yeah.
that capacity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
supply and
But I
demand
think-
economic thing. But I'm just wondering.
Maybe I'm not making a cohesive argument, but like think about it this way. You all watched the World Series.
Yes.
Did you
I did.
finish watching it and say, man, that sucked? Even
No.
if you're not a Dodger, it was amazing.
It was an awesome World Series.
The end
It was
sucked.
probably the best World Series of our lifetime last year.
The end was, the end, if you are not a Dodgers fan, was soul crushing and heartbreaking and whatever. But the games were unbelievable.
Amazing. It could have been the best World Series in our lifetime.
And I can't relate to someone that watched that as a neutral and said, I don't want to see that again.
right now.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to see Ohtani in the playoffs all the time? I do. Like, I
Yeah,
want to
you
see
know,
the
that was
best
an
players
amazing World
that are
Series.
capable of the best of the sport has to offer all the time, you know? But at the same, like that, this is just, dude, this is the whole thing. Like, multiple things are true at the same time. I want to see that. And the World Series is awesome. What the Dodgers are doing and the money that's flowing into the sport, that's all awesome. But the way that certain fan bases feel is, definitively not awesome and is something that does need to be addressed to a certain extent, right? Like, Pittsburgh is the one I just think about because it really is about pushing the bottom up more than it is pushing the top down.
Mhm.
You know? And the way I feel is if you're an owner and you don't want to spend and don't own a baseball team,
Right.
go buy a yacht or like something.
Yeah. We see that. At
I
Minnesota.
live to drag the Pirates, so don't get me started on them. Anytime I get a chance to drag them, I'm going to do it.
They got all this credit this winter. For like, oh, we're the Pirates. Like, we're finally spending money. So they finished, their payroll went up $19 million. It's like,
Right.
nah.
Do you
And 12 of that went to Marcell Ozuna like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
let's get into the weeds. Do you re-sign McCutchen or no? If you're the Pirates,
No.
don't do it.
I wouldn't have signed. Okay, so this is again multiple things are true. Would I have signed McCutchen? Let me start at the beginning. The Pirates messed something up at the front end of this whole drama.
McCutchen thing.
They messed something up at the front end because if their plan was not to bring McCutchen back, that's something that you need to tell him on November 3rd.
Yeah.
That needs to be clear. That guy, for what he is to that city and that franchise, cannot be sitting on his hands, on his ass, twiddles on December 19th or January 4th, thinking that he's going to get a phone call from you. That is embarrassing, and that's a problem. I don't think that like giving him, tenure makes sense either. If he didn't earn the spot, he doesn't necessarily deserve it just because he is what he is.
Sure.
They invalidated everything they said when they signed Marcell Ozuna.
Exactly.
To me. Because if you want to keep the DH spot open and you want to like cycle young guys through and like, fine. Don't sign a different old guy to like fill the spot for more money who has a DV thing on his resume, who like isn't a top 5 iconic dude in your franchises. Like that to me is what doesn't make sense. But no, I do not think, as good as Andrew McCutchen is, I do not think he just like deserves to be on the Pirates forever. Right.
Sure.
And I understand the argument like, hey, Andrew, thank you for everything. We're going to do something a little bit different this year. I think that's
all.
Right. I think like he's a big boy. He's an adult. He can handle that. But like the Pirates, and it's not like the Pirates deserve the benefit of the doubt.
They don't.
Here,
they don't.
Right? Like, do we think they handled this right behind the scenes?
No.
With Andrew McCutchen?
Pirates.
It's been horrible. They've been horrible for a while.
Here's the other thing. If the Pirates had been handling this right from the front, Andrew McCutchen would not be tweeting his feelings out.
No. He's going before Fan Fest. He's like, "Oh, this is too bad."
I have to say,
I could have said goodbye to the fans.
As much as I love Kutch, I'm happy he's getting his thoughts out there. Reading him doing that on Twitter makes me sad.
Brutal.
It like bums me out.
Brutal.
It really, it just like, the whole thing is just unfortunate, dude. It just sucks.
Can we jump from one Pennsylvania team that's handling things wrong to another? Because this Nick Castellanos thing.
I have an opposite opinion on this one.
All right, good. What do you think about the Phillies, Nick Castellanos of it all? And then the Dombrowski was like having some Harper comments as well.
Oh, crapping on Harper? Yeah. So here's the thing about Castellanos, man. There's only one Nick Castellanos. And the way that we, or like the majority of people, consume Nick Castellanos' character is through these like minute-long clips of him being quirky in interviews 7 times a year. Right? Is that fair?
Sure.
When you watch those interviews of Nick Castellanos being somewhat difficult, do you get the sense that you would love to be his colleague?
No.
Yeah. Nick
he should be one of those guys that it's like, in the locker room, he's our dude. He's our guy. He just hates everybody else.
And he was for 4 years until he wasn't anymore. All I'm saying is Nick Castellanos, Nick Castellanos as a player fell off. He was terrible. He was awful last year. And he kept acting like he was a superstar.
Sure.
And you can act like a superstar if you play like a superstar. There are weirder and worse and more annoying people in the sport than Nick Castellanos. But they bang.
Right. That's hilarious.
And if you bang, and he said this, like talking to the Padres reporters, winning fixes everything.
Yep.
Right? And if you bang, people will put up with you. And if you don't, go ahead.
What do you think? What's your biggest surprise? Him signing with the team or the team that signed him?
With the Padres?
Yeah. Is that a surprising team for you?
No, that's the only option, dude. He's known Machado his like whole life. And the Padres just need a living, breathing human being who owns a baseball bat to be the designated hitter. And they don't have to pay him anything. Like it's
wow.
Yeah, you got a baseball bat through.
Hey, you got one? I would have done it. But yeah, the Castellanos thing is so. It sucks because like when he's good, he's so much fun. But dude, having been around that team, I could tell like he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way over a long time. And that's been reported. Like that's out there, and And I understand why things got. You can't walk into the dugout holding a beer and yelling at your manager in front of all your teammates during a game. It's
Why not, though?
Well, I
funny.
saw a Schwarber interview about that. Like Schwarber was really trying to
Yeah,
like
Schwarber was,
he was like,
Schwarber did
"Well,
heavy lifting.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
Dude,
that must have been
Schwarber
really,
did heavy
it was
lifting on
worse
that
than
interview.
whatever we all think it is.
God bless Kyle, dude. He did his best. He was
He
Was
did
Nick a
heavy
dis-
lifting on that
was
interview.
Nick a distraction?
It's on what you say. We won a lot of games. We were right there. We were right there at the end.
Was distraction? That's what you gotta do. If you ever get asked a question you don't want to answer, just say the question back to the other person.
I mean, he was right there. He was like, "Hey, look, we were in it at the end. We almost beat the Dodgers. We were successful."
That's awesome.
You mentioned the name Alex Bregman earlier. I do want to ask.
Yeah, dude.
Since we're talking about organizations and are like who's kind of screwing up the most or not screwing up, did the Red Sox continue their string of just letting really good players going back to Mookie Betts, then Devers, now Bregman?
It's a little different.
Players.
It's getting less bad.
It's gotten Mookie's the worst. Devers less. And then
I'm gonna send them a card. I'm gonna send them a thank you card.
The Mookie trade is the most unforgivable baseball transaction since Babe Ruth.
Really?
But I thank them anyway.
Yeah.
You should thank them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should send them a holiday card every year.
I am.
Because the thing about Mookie Betts is like, if you just need to watch Mookie Betts exist in person. He doesn't even need to be playing baseball. He could be bowling or
he's really good at bowling.
Playing guitar now.
It doesn't matter what he's doing. If you watch him exist, you understand that is a person that you need to have in your institution, whatever that may be, for as long as you possibly can. And the idea that the Red Sox couldn't get to that point or didn't think he was a worthwhile investment is just mind, because it's like, what were you watching for this 5 years he was on your team? Like, this guy, it doesn't make any sense to me. So that was the worst. Devers was like a little less bad because like restricting them from spending and like he didn't fit on the roster and like to be blamed in that situation, like it wasn't his fault and the Red Sox messed up.
Exactly.
But he's not the player that Mookie had. Whereas, and then Bregman, it's like you just didn't want to pay a guy.
Yeah.
You just didn't want to pay a guy. And like, I like Bregman. I think he's a really good player.
Sure.
Go look at his sprint speed numbers over time and the lower body injuries that he's had. And I do think that there is some legitimate concern about not extending him long term. Like, I think he makes the Cubs a lot better. I think he is a game changer in the room. An underrated thing that I believe is I think anybody that is bilingual and is like a perennial all-star has a shot to be like a legitimate clubhouse needle mover.
Yeah.
And that's true with like Willie Adames, right?
Yeah.
Who like he is communicating, because I mean, Cheats, you've been around, like it's a clicky room.
Yeah.
Big league clubhouses.
Yeah.
It's a clicky room.
Yeah.
And if you are the type of dude that can bring the Latin contingent and the stateside contingent together from a social perspective, like that is super valuable. And Bregman is one of those guys, like he speaks Spanish. He's from New Mexico. He works on it. Like that's important to him. And so I do think that meant more in Boston than it does in Chicago. Go look at the Cubs. Go look at the Cubs roster.
Oh, we
Chiefs doesn't do that. He doesn't watch the Cubs at all. He don't believe in the Cubs at all.
Guys,
He doesn't even know they exist. He doesn't watch them.
Guys,
A lot of guys.
Look at the Cubs. Nope.
Last
Yeah.
name. A pretty gringo. That is a.
So the running joke, Jake, is I don't watch the Cubs I didn't watch the Cubs very much at all last year. Yeah. And it's because every day I've got to watch like the daily highlights. I've got to like recap and watch highlights and edit highlights and do your finish the breakfast segment that mostly highlights obviously African American players in the game, 3 minutes or less every day.
Yeah.
Since the Cubs did not have any black players, it was not a team that I didn't have to watch. Now, shout out to my guy Quentin Berry, love him. He's out there, he's coaching, doing
Great
his
guy.
thing.
Yeah.
But it was like
You
I
didn't mix
didn't
Matt
watch-
Shaw. You didn't mix Matt Shaw.
Yeah, I
highlights?
didn't
That's
have
not
to
what the
watch
audience
the
wants.
Cubs. You know, no,
They don't want
I
the-
didn't have to
okay.
do it.
Just
So,
check.
so we get to the playoffs, and I'm like, hey, let me see.
You're like,
what
who
this
are
Cubs
these
team-
guys?
Let me see what this Cubs team is. And they tried to convince me that the Cubs were a fun watch.
They are.
The crew here was trying to convince me that the Cubs were a fun
I
watch.
enjoyed watching
And I-
them.
The
Word.
games that I watched of the Cubs were terrible. They were not fun to watch at all. Not because
You
of the
didn't
racial
even
hate,
watch
just
the
wasn't a
right
fun game.
ones.
When you saw no, like when PCA was cooking in the first half.
See?
He's an
If-
exciting player.
He's watching
If you
September.
caught-
That's what he did.
Yeah, if you caught like PCA on a Friday afternoon
Ugh,
where the yard's packed, like the Cubs they're entertaining. Yeah,
ugh.
I mean they're also like,
It
I
was
mean they're whiter than my background. Man. That's
well, look, we will see. It was tough. Let's quickly.
I want to like that is it is an interesting way through which you consume the game where it's just like there just are teams that you're watching less, right? Like for
Yeah.
me,
No,
the
absolutely.
teams I'm watching less because my job is to like know what's going on in the league, right? Like I'm watching the bad teams less just by nature.
No, see, so
Right.
look, I will watch
For you, it's just a
Yeah.
different like
Yeah.
prioritization scale.
and it's obviously I'm gonna watch my favorite teams. I'm gonna
Right.
watch what we in the crew we call like we call it BBM extra inning teams, which are just fun teams to watch. Why they're
Yeah.
fun could be different reasons, right? Like if the question is if you've got a night off and you're not like
You're-
at a game covering a game,
Yeah.
are you like what teams are you gonna watch and for what reasons?
I'm having dinner with my wife is what I'm doing. Personally.
He's like, y'all nerds over
Yeah,
there.
like-
Look, if I have a night off, are you
No,
saying I
like-
get a night off in the season?
You know, if
I'm
I get excited about, and if I get excited about it, man, I get excited about like, we'd mentioned it just because it's a good point of reference. That day that like they call Bryce Matthews up in the Astros, Cam
Yeah.
Smith in the lineup, Taylor Trammell's in the lineup, and you're like, oh man, I've got to watch that game. Or Chase
Yeah.
Burt, like the Reds made the trade, gets Key Bryant Hayes, and then they've got Ellie, K. Bryant on the Hayes, like Hunter Green or Chase Burns is pitching, like Will Benson's might be out there. So I was like, oh, I got to see that. So, like we all, Lawrence Butler out in the Athletics, wherever
Oh.
they are, Sacramento, Oakland, Vegas.
Yeah,
They're,
we
you know-
call him the YOLO County Ace
Right.
because the county they play in is actually called YOLO County.
Oh,
Like Sacramento is in YOLO County,
No, I'm
which is
just saying.
which is hilarious,
It's hilarious.
right? That's real. For us, they're the YOLO County A's until they move to Vegas. They don't get to just. You have to have a first name. They're
Man.
walking around here like
And it.
Ichiro or Neymar, or, Cher or Madonna.
Exactly.
One name. come on. Pick
But
a
no,
first name.
but the funny part is it's like you get to consume even the way we can we consume the game and what kind of we focus on.
Yeah.
You consume so much of the game, and it's every day. And it's like the idea that with the roster moves, I'm paying as much attention to AA and AAA to see
Yeah.
who's going to be that guy to make the debut. And you'd mentioned it, and I can't wait, Jake, to get you down to Carmax Park in Richmond. A brand new stadium for the Flying Squirrels in Richmond is opening this season. But it's like, we get to see, James Wood and George Lombard and all these guys,
Dude.
like where there's very little fans. Hey, there's some folks that when I say very little, the stadiums are full, but it's like just a smaller environment, and they get to kind of take in a mid-season AA baseball game.
Oh,
where it
I
just
mean,
happens to be like
it's the
Yeah.
best. That's how I fell in love with the whole thing. Like, I have it behind me. I have all my just like all my credentials from over the years. I don't have any minor league stuff up on there.
You keep
But like
them.
I
At this point, you gotta let them go.
I keep mine too.
I keep them all, dude. Jordan like keeps them all, like
That's
a
all. That's
absolute freako. Like here I have my whole
Look at that. Look at that.
binder.
Nope.
Right, like that's the Lehigh Valley Iron
That's
Pigs.
insane. That's
I got the
insane.
2016 OKC Dodgers. Right, like I keep the Lansing Lugnuts.
Look,
You know,
One
look,
and a half
this
last
is
week.
this is a good this is a good segment and a segue, and we are running over the hour, so this is what I want to do.
who cares? I
Jake,
got nowhere to be.
Look, we've got to have you on.
Right, you got a show to prep for?
We got to have you.
Yeah,
On.
I got to show it. I got to show it at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. But
Right.
this is prep. This is
No,
prep.
we got to have you on as we go throughout the season. You'll be we'd love to have you back, but I do want to talk about just switching gears, just the uncanny journey that you and Jordan have been on for I don't know how many years it's been now.
Yeah, I mean, let me break the binder back out.
Yeah, no,
It's all in here.
but for folks that don't know, like right now, it's Baseball Barbacast podcast. It's kind of embedded in Yahoo Sports. You guys have done some really cool things. Flobo mentioned it earlier. You guys had a show on Sirius that went over from Sirius to Yahoo, and the idea that anybody even in 2026, it's always these risks of like shifting platforms, shifting audiences, growing. You guys have been successful in doing that. Before that, basically two baseball fans, right, that just really had their passion for the game turn into what was it, Flobo? Is it Cespedes?
Cespedes Family
Yes,
Bar.
Miss Barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah. So really quick, Jake. I know it's impossible to do it in a short form, but how did the journey begin for our audience that may be just being introduced?
Flobo, I appreciated the buckwheat shout out in the mention.
Yeah, you remember that address. I'm not crazy.
You never know when you're looking for dub, man.
Yes, dude, he was saying that on the radio.
I didn't know where they were going with that audience, so I gotta let that go.
Oh, you
there
need to go rewatch.
There was a promo.
You gotta go rewatch all your buckwheat, man. Buckwheat.
Yo, there was a promo on the MLB network radio days about because I guess Barbacast was like part of the channel.
We were like on there and like our ads were on the radio, and I did some bit. I got in trouble for like doing dumb bits on our ad reads.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Like that's a good reason to get in trouble. 'Cause now it's funny. I'll speed run it for you, Cheese. So myself and Jordan Schusterman, we grew up together, went to middle school together, went to synagogue together when we were little. Different high schools, got really tight in high school because we were the only people in our friend group that liked baseball. Started a website our senior year of high school. That would have been 2012.
Damn.
2012. So it's been 14 years together. And we would just do these trips over the summer where we would like work for Baseball Prospectus and we would write one like journal logs for them about our trip. And they would like give us like $1,000 for the hotels. Right. And we would go to the Red Roof Inn or whatever. And we would do these trips. We did like DC to Iowa and back, seeing minor league games. We did DC to Houston and back. We flew to San Diego and drove to Seattle. And then going into our senior year of college, we did one for MLB.com where we drove DC to Maine to San Diego for the All-Star game and back. And we did 32 days in the car together. Just every day interviewing minor leaguers, going to games. And like I look back at that trip of like the dudes that we got to interview, Judge, Dansby, like we got, because we knew, right? Like we were like, these guys are going to be good. Like, let's get some time with them. And so that kind of helped us develop relationships with those guys, right? We got Judge for 15 minutes in the Stanton dugout. Like you can't get 15 minutes with Aaron Judge over the course of a full season. Now, you know, and I've tried, trust me. I was in New York. I love Aaron. He's awesome.
Hardest guy to get to.
He's the hardest guy to get. Hardest guy.
Is he harder than
got
Shohei?
So many people.
Is he harder than Shohei?
Well, Shohei's just like a different.
Okay, he doesn't count.
But Shohei's hard because like you can't go up to Shohei and ask him a question.
Nah.
Because like I don't speak Japanese.
And there's
No,
like a world of people around. It's like the president.
Yeah, it's just like a different thing. Like Judge is easier than Shohei because like you can go up to Judge, like you can go up to be like, hey, you give me 2 minutes, and he'll give you 2 minutes. He's just not in the room often.
Okay.
If he's in the room and you go up to him, he's great.
But
he's
you got him 15 minutes on a road trip.
I got him 15 minutes on the road trip because he was 20. This is back when his teeth looked like mine, you know. He was still like Michael Strahan at that point. So anyway, man, Flobo, I like that one. You like that one, man? That one got you? I know they're far apart. I'm not blind. Anyway, so
my bad.
No, you're good, dude. I'm comfortable. So anyway, when Jordan and I did all those road trips together and we were podcasting and writing about the game, and you know, people liked our tone and thought that we were entertaining, and now it's my job and pays for rent. And in some ways, like I'm grateful and feel like I fell asleep on a keyboard and turned this into my life. The thing I'm most grateful for is that I get to do it with my best friend. I know that sounds kind of corny, and like I want to go like after like saying that a little bit, like, but like, you know, the most important person in my professional life is my best friend, and so it just creates this. I want to talk to him about baseball every day, you know, and if that's the basis for everything we do, where I'm just trying to entertain him or educate him or whatever, then we're good. The second that we're not doing that, that's when we're not good. And there have been moments where it's like, oh, you get a little lost, and then just call Jordan, talk to him for an hour about the game. So yeah, now I write 3 days a week at Yahoo, podcast 2 or 3 days a week in season or out of season. I've been to the World Series. I've been to every World Series game since 2021.
Oh, wow.
Like, I can't even believe that. You know what I mean? Like I gotta like pinch my, you know what I mean? Like I gotta just pinch myself. Like I had this moment where I was just like, I was on the field after the Dodgers won, and I was like, what am I doing here?
Amazing. Good time.
Who let my ass on the field? You know?
How's this happening?
Because the second you lose that, the second the wonder leaves you, I should go, you know, be an accountant or something.
What do you find? Do you find being in clubhouses, in settings, getting you to be able to be around the characters of baseball? What do you find like the most interesting about like the psyche of not just the players, because the players are one thing, but just folks that are around baseball?
I mean, I'll do this. I'll do the players.
Yeah.
The players are so inherently selfish. And I mean that in a not in like a bad way.
Right.
Selfish is maybe the wrong word, but like these guys are so confident in their own abilities, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be in that room. And like, what I find cool is like, I'm interacting with these people who are in the top 1% of the thing that they do. That's so cool. These people, even the crappy players, you know, they exude greatness to make it to that point. And to have that mindset, like it takes a lot out of you, and it makes it, and not harder to interact, but like it changes your mindset, right? And so that I found very interesting to kind of see how that goes about, because it's like, who can turn it off, right?
Ooh, that's a good
if I'm
question.
in the box, I need to believe to my core that I am a superior entity to you, the pitcher. I am destined for this. And I think that is actually why, and this is a whole other conversation, religion and sports, where you see a lot of people that are great athletes get really into God because they feel as if they have been blessed.
Sure.
And it makes sense, right? It's like, I'm here I won the birth lottery, right? In a way. But when you're in that box, you have to believe that you're superior. And that mindset, when you take it into the world, is incredibly annoying sometimes, right? You know?
Sure.
And so that is the dynamic I'm super interested in. And like, I have good relationships with players. I'm not saying that they're not bad people or they're not annoying. Like, but there are times where they can't turn it off. And I'm just so interested in how they go about turning it off. How do they decompress? Right. And I wrote this whole article last year about how players are drinking less than ever before, drinking less booze.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with weed. Right.
Sure.
But just because like the game ends at 10, you got to go to sleep. How are you getting your heart rate down? Right. So that's the main thing. That is just the mindset that it takes to be that good at something. I did not appreciate until I was around it on a regular basis.
Let me ask you this. How do players or even people in the organization, because you described your journey, you and Jordan, which is a phenomenal one, but it's like you said, it's a lot different from doing a road trip writing about minor league baseball players to 4 times a week on Yahoo Sports.
Yeah.
How do the players and people around the game that are you kind of surprised? Like if a player comes up to you and is like, and now everything's on video, so they know exactly what you look like.
Oh, dude, I had a player come up to me in Miami last year who I didn't know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up to me and I didn't know he was a player. And like, I just felt like such an asshat. Right.
Why?
Like Jake, hey man, big fan of your stuff. No, I did. He's like, Jake, big fan of your stuff. And I was like, thanks, man. What do you do? He's like, I'm the freaking I'm the backup catcher on the Marlins. What do you mean? What do I do? Like I play baseball. So no, I think the guys, like they see it, they see the things you say, and you just have to be fair and thoughtful. You know, it's like any conversation. You could critique someone's actions. Don't critique someone's character.
Yeah.
Right. That's honestly, like Nick Castellanos is a great example. What he did was bad. Is he a bad person? No. What he did was bad. And if like Nick has a problem with me saying that what he did was bad, like, okay, we can talk about it, but I'm not calling him a bad person, right? That is the difference. Hey, Tyler Glasnow, you had a bad outing. Right. They know that. They're not stupid, right? Sure. So you just need to, that's the line that you just have to learn where it is, kind of.
Is there anything that happened so far, especially over the last couple of years, that has just been like weird? Not like you not recognize, but like you wrote something and then it's like, man, that was a weird reaction.
Well, I mean, I had this thing happen to me. The one that obvious one that comes to my mind is in 2023. This thing happened in the playoffs where I reported that Orlando Arcia was making fun of Bryce Harper in the clubhouse after the Braves won Game 2 of the DS. He was like saying "Attaboy Harper," and like I wrote it because he did it. And like we're in the room, like I'm in the locker room, and the whole media's in there, and there's a guy making fun of Harper, like screaming it. I'm like, well, that's certainly interesting.
It's newsworthy. That's
newsworthy. And so I wrote it. Like I put it in my story. It's like, if I'm in the room and you're making fun of a dude, like that's funny, but sorry, do it when I'm not in the room. And so that turned into this whole thing about like journalistic ethics and, you know, then Harper homered twice and stared Arcia down.
The staring. I remember the staring. Yeah.
My DMs were wild. I had to send my now wife, had to have her go on private, right? Braves fans were like out of pocket.
Oh, wow.
But like I learned a lot from that situation, right? And like it's like, oh, how would I have done that differently? Well, would I have put his name in there? Would I have just said, oh, a player said this, right? Because if I say a player said this, you're probably getting the same thing from the story versus like if I put his name, you know what I mean? Like I think about this a lot. Like how would I have handled that situation differently? Because on one hand, I portrayed the scenario that I was interacting with, and I did it truthfully, and that's my job. But it's like, where do you pull there are tons of things I know and I have heard players say that I haven't reported, you know, of course.
Sure.
Right. But and like So I think about that one all the time. That was easily the weirdest thing that happened to me, like by a mile.
So it's funny because one of the things that it's just, again, it's not even a baseball thing, it's a life thing. It's like how you meet people is kind of how they view you. Well, I mean, whether it's fair or not only if you get to know someone, their opinion of you may have changed over time, but how you meet someone, especially if somebody introduces you, you're like, oh, that's the guy that was introduced by this guy, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, and this was early on in the mixtape. I wind up having a series of podcast episodes that were, whether it was Tony Regan's or David J. It was like just leadership in kind of the MLB HQ of black executives. It just kind of happened to fall that way. That it was like Dell Matthews, like Tony Regan's, David. We got them all like kind of in the same 3-month span. And I remember I got a call, I got a message on social from a person that I did not know, but they were like, oh, we're in the Marlins organization at the time. And can you give me a call? And I was like, sure. Now, meanwhile, I'm in my couch in Richmond, Virginia. I have no official standing. I don't even have MLB credentials at this point. And I wind up getting on the phone with an employee in the Marlins organization that, for full disclosure, is no longer working there, but was like, I'm like one of the highest ranking black people in this organization. Is there any way you can get me on the phone with one of the people that's like an executive in MLB HQ? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like,
you're in your pajamas.
Like, what is? I remember telling my wife, I'm like, what is happening here? I don't know any of these. And now it's different. If the same thing happened now, I would handle it differently. I know people to plug people too, but I just remember thinking how weird some of this stuff is, just because you're on a social media platform talking to someone or interviewing. So I was just like, this is, and it's, don't get me wrong.
Because here's the thing, man. Okay, so I think about this all the time. Before we started the show, before you pressed record, you made a joke about oh, how many people are even going to watch, right? I think. Well, no. Let me be real. That is the hardest thing about my job is balancing the. Oh well, I can say whatever I want because no one's actually watching. No one really cares what I say. Mm-hmm. But it's okay, then why are you doing it? Of course, people are watching. If people aren't watching, you wouldn't be doing it. And so it's but then it's oh my God, people are watching. I gotta watch what I say. Right. And then you just get stuck in this feedback loop of that, and it's tough. And so I think it's important to kind of remember and act. Maybe this is just my white male confidence speaking, but carry yourself what you're doing is good, and what you're writing matters and what you're saying matters. Because if you don't believe it,
right,
no one else is going to believe it.
The funny part is, so I have to give the disclosure now to everybody that comes on the show that is a player. You know what I mean? If I'm interviewing a player, I have to give them the disclosure. It's hey, look, this is probably the most relaxed interview you're going to have. Don't get too relaxed. People pay attention to it, and I don't want you calling me, cutting out sections of the interview 2 days later, which has happened often.
I'm sure it has.
But it's because, it is fun. I do enjoy it, and it is a lot of fun. Jake, we enjoyed you, my brother. Let me go around. Let's do as quick as we can, and I apologize for filibustering the interview to the crew. But let's go around. You got any quick hitters for Jake before we get out of here?
April, go.
Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm super excited about the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. My question to you is, will you be attending? Where? And what exactly do you think that this will mean for MLB regarding 2026 and beyond? Because I remember 2023, it was big, and I personally feel like this is just going to take it completely over the edge, but I want to know your thoughts.
So I'll be in spring. I'll be in Florida for about a month starting next week, which is a lot of time in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stay with my wife's grandpa in Florida too,
That's
which
great.
is it's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's actually
Yeah.
dope. That's gonna be
It's
They
dope.
great.
take
We have a
care
good
of you,
time.
so you'll be
Yeah,
good.
we have a good time. I will be at the semis and the finals. I will probably go to the quarterfinals that Japan is playing in because it'll probably be Japan against Venezuela or the Dominican in the quarterfinals. So I'll probably go to that. Because I'm a giant loser, I went through the last 4 years of the MLB Network top 100 players that they do. I went through the last 4 WBC cycles to see how many of those top 100 players are participating in the tournament, right? To try and understand how much better is the talent level that we're getting at the WBC. So just for context, last year we had, or last edition rather, we had 7 of the top 10 guys. This year it's 9 of the top 10. You rewind the clock back to like 2013, 2017, we're getting like 4 of the top 10 and none of the pitchers. Right. There was one year where there was, I think, 2 or 3 pitchers on the top 100 total. Right. Now we have like 3 of the top 5 pitchers. 4 of the top 5 pitchers in the world are in the tournament. Skeens, Skubal, Christopher Sanchez, and Yamamoto. Right. We got Judge doing it. That's amazing. Right. And so I think we have all the crap that happened with like the Puerto Rico stuff sucks. And it sucks for people in Puerto Rico who want to see their guys play. This is the most talented edition of the tournament we've ever had. It's not close. And it's going to just up the level even more. I can't wait.
Me too. I'm so excited.
Jake, I was glad to have you on the pod, and I'm excited to ask you this question. Who is your favorite free agent signing? Personally, mine is Murakami. I think that the additional bidets are going to help the White Sox. You see what he's done with the Dodgers. As a living witness, now I know that might be TMI. But anyway, who is your favorite free agent signing?
I got
expected bidet wins over season.
Dude, ex bidet. My apartment that I'm renting has like one of those bidet attachments on in the bathroom over here, and I haven't plugged it in. Like I can't figure out how to work it. And so I think I'm gonna, when the White Sox are in town in DC, I'm gonna have Murakami come over,
just figure it out,
do a little plumbing. Favorite free agent. Let me pull up the big list. Oh,
you got the hat on. Might as well just wear it. Like,
I was about to say the Pete Alonso one. I love because it is a sign of intent from the Orioles.
Yes,
that they are operating differently than they were before, right?
Yep.
I feel similarly about Dylan Cease to the Blue Jays, where it's like, oh, the Blue Jays are like a top 4 spender now.
They're going
like that is a big deal. As far as, man, you know what's a great signing is Edwin Diaz.
Yes, it was.
People are sleeping on that.
Yeah.
Just hey, remember how good the Dodgers were? They have the best closer now. Like we just got so mad about Kyle Tucker.
Yeah,
we just forgot.
He went under the Kyle Tucker radar is what he did.
Yeah, we just forgot about that. That one was great. Murakami's that's a fun one. An underrated one. Dude, you know what was the funniest one? Was the Braves signing Ha-Sung Kim $20 million. And then he like fell on a patch of ice in Korea and like broke his finger.
Right.
After seeing wiped away.
Dude, Verlander going back to Detroit.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That one's great. I really like that one. And then here's a deep cut. Rob Refsnyder to the Mariners. Guy crushes lefties. That's a good bat to have around.
There you go.
Deep cut for sure.
Flobo, do you have a final one?
Well, I got a pre-question. The first question is what does your notes look like? Is it all like proprietary, or do you have like sites up? I guess you have like your own thing going on.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. So some stuff's proprietary, some stuff is not. So like what I'm going to put in the chat now, sorry for everyone who's not watching. This is courtesy of a guy named John Becker who, my chat function is not working. So I'll send it to you later. Courtesy of a guy named John Becker who works for Fangraphs, who basically just like keeps all of the free agents like tracked and color codes it all I literally see one of you popping up in there right now. It's incredible. This stuff it's amazing the work that he does, and it is an unbelievable resource.
Oh,
and then Jordan and I have like a million different dorky spreadsheets. And then our company pays for something called True Media, which I use a lot, which is, like heat maps and batted ball data stuff. So that's like I'm spending my whole day on that.
Love that, man. But my actual question is this: you actually talked about this on the podcast, your podcast this week. Already, it seems like it's the year of the injury. Shout out to Handmade Bones across the league.
Shout out to Handmade. Everybody check in with your Handmade.
Yo,
check in with your Handmade.
I'm scared now, man. I don't want to do any push-ups anymore. It's crazy. It just feels like it comes in waves. Already it's happening with a lot of key players. I mean, when you have so many injuries in the beginning of the season, is anyone panicking? Are you panicking? Just something's overblown this cycle? What do you think?
We're going to be okay. People get hurt. Like, every year I feel like it's like, oh, the injuries, are they gonna it's like, no, it's just, what do they call it? It's a workplace hazard, just part of doing business. I think the Handmade stuff is just weird that it's happening. The other thing to remember, right, is just guys are pushing themselves past the physical limit more than they ever have before with training. And so it's like, what can the human body handle? Right? We've seen it with elbows, and like, I got Tommy John. Like, we've seen it with elbows. Like, is the same thing true with hands? I have no idea.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we didn't ask because we heard the story, we heard the journey, but Jake, what is your favorite teams?
Well, I mean, I grew up an Orioles fan, so like here. So this, if you're watching, there's a picture up here on my right. 2131, which is Cal Ripken.
There we go.
I was born 2130. So that was September 5th, 1995. 9595. Today I was born. My whole mom's side of the family is from Baltimore. My grandma left my mom in the hospital and went to the game. My grandma's like, I have grandkids. We'll never do it again.
Wow.
Oh my god. So
Wow.
now does that mean so Orioles fan growing up, who were the posters on your wall? Who were the guys?
Oh,
who
like
were your guys?
when I was growing up?
Yeah.
I mean, so Cal retired when I was 6. Cal retired. My favorite players growing up were Ripken, Miguel Tejada, and then I got really into the Astros when they were good in the mid 2000s. I loved Roy Oswalt. That was my guy. I just thought he was super fun. But those are like the three. And then I fell back in love with baseball, really with Manny Machado when he was on the Orioles, like when I was in college. Like that was the guy. Like Machado really kind of pulled me back in because he was cool. Like,
yeah, very
the
cool.
Orioles weren't just good again. Like they were relevant. Like Manny Machado felt relevant. You know what I mean? And like he was the guy. I was too old at that point to have posters on my wall. Like when you're 17, you're like, oh wait, do I need all these?
Meanwhile, I have posters on my wall like behind.
Look at me! Now I'm back.
But I get it. I understand.
I'm back. I got all my own credentials on the wall. Like I'm not
now, was
cool.
this just? I don't know how this works because I grew up in Richmond, so home team sports was my thing. Like there was none of the matching. It was like. Home team sports covered all the games.
I'm younger than you. I hate to say it that way.
No, I'm old. I'm pushing.
I had some CSN, I believe, in there. Comcast Sports Network.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I watched.
Very nice.
I mean, yeah, it was mostly.
Camden Yards, your favorite place to watch a game, or no?
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
It's a great place. It's a great stadium.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, top 5.
Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I mean, and then I don't like Dodger Stadium. I'm low on Dodger Stadium.
Thank you, bro. What a tough.
I don't like it very much. Getting in and out of there, it's like
hazard.
It's like an airport.
Yes.
And they treat you like crap in there.
Preach.
Like you feel like cattle in Dodger Stadium. I hate it there. I hate it there.
I'm so neutral on the team. That stadium kills them.
The ballpark. I mean, the view. Once you're in the seat and the sun's down,
a lot of ifs.
You're like
a lot of ifs.
I went once as a fan, and I had this like 3 minutes of Nirvana where I was like 3 beers deep, and I had a hot dog, and the view was nice, right? Like, but boy, that's tough. Toronto, I had never been to before. This postseason, awesome,
Great place to watch the game.
awesome spot.
Rogers
Great
Stadium.
place, loved it there.
Jake, we really appreciate you. We're gonna have to leave it there. We normally tell all of our audience where to find you, but really it's super easy. Just go to Yahoo Sports and you'll see Jake Mintz everywhere. And then you got to download, subscribe to the Baseball Barbacast because it is an amazing podcast. It really is.
Just thanks for enjoying the sport, Cheats. Like
I
vividly remember the first time we met was in Texas at the All-Star game.
Was it Texas or Seattle?
I think it was for me. Maybe we met in Seattle, but I didn't remember you. I guess,
so it's probably Texas. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
But like in Texas, like we were sitting next to each other, and like when you're in this world, you sit next to people and you talk to so many people, and like it's like who loves baseball,
right.
Who loves this,
sure,
who like not just who likes it, who tolerates it, who enjoy, to whom is this the whole thing, and like I knew that about you right away. Like right away, I was like, this guy, because it was me, you, and friend of the program, Clinton Yates.
Yeah, Yates was there.
And like Clinton is the epitome of guy who loves it, right?
Sure.
And that's why we're buzzed. And I just remember meeting you. I was like, that is a guy who loves it. So thank you for what you do. Thanks for having me on. And now that we're in the same market, I'm sure I'll see you driving up 95 to make your way to Nats Park all the time.
And same way, I'm dead serious, man. We got to get you to our brand new stadium in CarMax Park. So
it'd be an honor, be a privilege. And thank you to the three of you, the non-Cheats individuals.
The crew
for having me.
Certified non-Cheats individual. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Right. Do you have a business card for that? Do you have a business
card? Trust me, they've all have their own more than business cards. So, Jake, we appreciate you, brother. Until next time, we're about to wrap up this program, and before we do, we always have to thank. Oh, you bought him back didn't mean to do that, but we got to thank our sponsors again. The Players Alliance, Numbers Game Scorecards, which we will make sure we get Jake some Numbers Game Scorecards with a Black Baseball Mixtape version on them, and shout out to Minority Prospects. So it has been, I knew it was going to be an excellent episode. It has been a blast. Make sure you check out Baseball Barbacast. And what an incredible journey that him and Jordan has had. We got to try to get Jordan on as well as we move forward. As we wrap up, let's jump over to April. What is going on in the 10th inning?
Y'all, if you have not checked out my episode with Peyton and Paxton Huff, please make sure you do so. Also, please make sure that you are listening in on my 28 Days in Black History. I'm going through...
Those are really good, by the way. Fantastic work.
Thank you. I'm going through both softball and baseball players, men and women. And then, of course, the college atmosphere is phenomenal. I'm recruiting as many people as possible to join us in the 2026 season. So I already have some games to attend. I don't want to be long, but for those of you who are a fan of Nigeri Kennedy, remember, this is her senior year. So for some of these players, this is the last season that you'll have to be able to see them. Grab a ticket ASAP because the tickets are going really, really fast in the areas where they will be playing. I want to make sure I put that out there for both softball and baseball.
Absolutely. You got to do that. And we're going to jump over to Butterman Baseball. How are we going to close out this one, my man?
So just to keep y'all in the loop, we will be April and I will be in Houston attending the Black Ball event. It'll be actually hosted by Houston Freedmen's Town Conservancy, which is a historical Black landmark. So we'll be attending that. There'll be black people. I mean, barbecue,
black
blues,
people,
and so we'll be there to see the new exhibit. There'll be a lot of homage to Black players in the Negro League sandlots in Houston. And so we're just excited to go to that. That'll be on Thursday. So we'll be there on the boots on the ground, as always.
On the ground. Speaking of boots on the ground, Flobo, your boots have been all over. What do we expect coming from you, my man, in the booth?
First thing First new episode of In the Booth coming at you next Monday. We got something lined up, taking a look at the science of the body where it comes to player and regenerative medicine. So a little bit of a scientific edition. But on top of that, man, I can't wait for a lot of things happening. The Discord is firing up. We're getting kind of geared up for
fantasy's coming.
Fantasy, man. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be any kind of competitiveness. My last season was pretty bad, so maybe it's going to be a redemption arc. And of course, I've been talking with April about the whole collegiate baseball, softball thing. I mean, UCLA is literally an 8-minute Uber ride. I might check out the game.
Go.
Only $35.
All I'm going to tell you
I borrow like 20 from you, man. I'm just hard.
And the ticket won't be that expensive either. So you gotta go ahead and show up.
Yes, ma'am.
All I'm going to tell you is new year, new me. Every year I say this, but I'm going to dedicate myself to fantasy baseball. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be in the leagues. I'm going to be active.
Last year.
I say that every year. I say I'm going to be heavily involved, and then by like week 2, I was like, I can't do this. I can't. But I'm going to dedicate myself to fantasy baseball. So if you want to join the Black Baseball Mixtape Fantasy Baseball League, you have to join our Discord to do so. It's absolutely free, but you have to message the Black Baseball Mixtape to get in the Discord to join the fantasy league. And our commissioner runs a really tight ship over there. Shout out to Sid. And they are doing a great job. Hey, look, baseball is right around the corner, if not already here, depending on where you are in high school, college, and baseball and softball. Pitchers and catchers, players are all at spring training. World Baseball Classic's coming up. It is getting to that time. This week we have another very special episode that I think I can announce now that the amazing Howard Bryant, the author of his latest book, is Kings and Pawns. It covers the crossroads or the intersection of Paul Robeson and Jackie Robinson. It has been out now for a couple of weeks. Howard is one of the best sports writers of our time, and I get a chance to talk to him this week, and that episode will be up shortly as well. So it's not going to stop over here. We are going to keep it going. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen,